At 4:08, a small, pilotless aircraft found its target, a helicopter parked on a forward ramp. One strike put fire to fuel and metal. Within minutes, hangars burned, dormant munitions detonated, and an entire helicopter detachment was grounded. What looked like a single tactical hit rippled into an operational crisis. This is the story of a drone, a helicopter, and what happened next, on the ground, in the air, and inside command rooms far from the blast. Helicopters are the workhorses of the battlefield, medevac, logistics, close air support, and rapid mobility for special forces. They are also vulnerable when exposed, parked on open ramps, waiting for parts or fuel, or left in the thin shelter of canvas and tarpaulin. For decades, commanders accepted that some risk was tolerable. But tactics change. Attackers learn not to meet armor and defenses head-on, but to strike the logistical networks and basing architectures that keep aircraft flying. Long-range drones and loitering munitions are the instruments of that change. Persistent eyes, extended reach, and a guided punch. When layered with human intelligence, signals intercepts, and careful timing, a small unmanned system can find an aircraft where it was once assumed safe. The result is often not a single wreckage, but a cascade, fuel igniting, munitions cooking off, morale collapsing, and mission capability shrinking in hours. Planners watch the target for weeks. Satellite photos, logistics flows, pattern-of-life analysis, and drone reconnaissance showed cycles, which helicopters returned at night, when fuel trucks arrived, when maintenance windows left birds on the open ramp. Attackers needed more than an image. They needed timing, the moment when a specific aircraft would be most vulnerable and when the smallest crew would be on duty. With that timing, a tiny, well-placed strike becomes a strategic lever. The approach combined persistence and redundancy. Long-endurance UAVs handled transit and overwatch. Smaller loitering munitions closed for the terminal phase. Electronic warfare masked ingress. Jammers and spoofers blurred radar signatures and delayed responses. Attack planners used multiple vectors, low-altitude terrain masking, night approaches, and windows at shift change. Critically, many loitering munitions have autonomous terminal guidance. If command links falter, the weapon still finds its mark. At 4:08 local time, the strike began. A loitering munition found the helicopter on the ramp. Accounts vary on exact impact point, rotor hub, fuel line, or engine bay, but the effect was immediate. Fire licked the fuselage. Fuel tanks ruptured. Nearby maintenance equipment and ground vehicles caught flame. A small magazine of rockets, stored for the next sortie, began to heat. The first 90 seconds determined the rest. Crews ran to fight, but ramp-side firefighting systems, if present, were often designed for parking lot incidents, not a rapid, fuel-fed inferno. Within minutes, smoke and flame made any airborne response impossible. Heat does strange things to war material. Modern helicopters often carry external fuel tanks, rockets, and stored munitions nearby. When exposed to intense heat, warheads cook off. They detonate without direct impact, scattering shrapnel and igniting fresh fires. This cascade transforms a single strike into multiple disasters. One aircraft destroyed, 10 rendered inoperable, serviceability rates plummet. For a helicopter detachment, that loss is crippling. On the ground, human scenes are immediate and sharp. A young mechanic who worked the night shift remembers the alarm, the scramble for foam, the sickening pop of a rocket warhead detonating without trigger. A pilot, scheduled for the morning patrol, sat stunned on a fuel truck as the bird he'd trained on for months collapsed into ruin. Nearby civilians felt the pressure wave, windows shattered. These are not statistics. They are fear, injury, and lives interrupted. Commanders faced a set of brutal choices in the hours after the blast. Do you counterattack to eliminate the threat and risk escalation? Do you shore up defenses and force the enemy to try again? Or do you disperse what remains of the aviation force across austere fields, accepting slower response times and greater logistic strain? Each choice carries cost and risk. Hardened shelters must be built at expense and over months. Dispersal reduces sortie rates and increases maintenance complexity. Doing nothing invites repeat strikes. Operationally, the immediate effects are measurable. Fewer available sorties, longer turnaround times, and lost mission flexibility for medevac, resupply, and close support. But the deeper effects are strategic. A successful strike of this type forces a recalculation of basing doctrine. It drives investment away from efficiency and toward survivability, more shelters, more perimeter patrols, more round-the-clock surveillance. Economically, that costs time and resources. Tactically, it slows the tempo of operations. Attackers gain both material and psychological advantage. Materially, assets denied are assets the enemy cannot use. Psychologically, the image of burning helicopters on a ramp spreads doubt among crews and commanders. Morale matters. Confidence in the safety of rear facilities is a quiet but powerful enabler of operations. Remove that confidence, and commanders must either spend heavily to restore it or accept restricted capability. Defense is not only about bunkers and guns. In the immediate aftermath, crews and engineers attempt improvisation. Fire suppression teams fight with limited foam. Mobile generators are brought in, satellite phones patch communications, and field repairs begin. But these fixes are stopgaps. Full recovery demands spare parts, avionics repairs, replacement engines, long lead items in a conflict, logistics lines under attack, or roads damaged by secondary incidents. Delay those deliveries. Recovery is measured in days, sometimes weeks. Across the theater, patterns shift. Analysts note more aircraft moved into hardened shelters, fewer parked in the open by daylight, and increased drone watch and EW resources allocated to perimeter defense. Tactics evolve. Attackers adapt too, searching for new vulnerabilities, fuel convoys, maintenance yards, even the security of small forward strips. The battlefield is a feedback loop. Each strike nudges doctrine into a new balance of efficiency and survivability. The human ledger is long. Beyond destroyed airframes and blackened hangars are the mechanics whose livelihoods are interrupted, the medics stretched thin, the families who lose a breadwinner for months, and the communities that lose medevac capability when it's needed most. Strategy is written in maps, but it is lived in hangars, mess halls, and neighborhood streets. Military analysts increasingly emphasize reach, the ability to strike far, surprise often, and do so unpredictably confers leverage. A small system that can reach where others cannot changes the cost calculus of modern operations. Headlines may quantify losses in millions or billions, but the more durable effect is the question the blow plants in the minds of leaders. What else is vulnerable? How soon until the next one? That uncertainty is itself a weapon. Helicopters will fly again. Bases will rebuild. Protective measures will be updated and enforced. But the rules of basing, protection, and risk have shifted. Commanders must now design operations as if unarmed ramps are no longer acceptable. They must accept cost and delay as the price of survivability. In war, sometimes the decisive moment is not the impact itself, but the seconds and hours that follow. That is where tactics become strategy. That is where small, cheap systems can create outsized consequences. Remember the human faces behind the metal and flame. Pilots, mechanics, families, because strategy may change on paper, but it is lived in hangars, hospitals, and homes. This is the story of one drone, one helicopter, and the long ripple that followed. It is a lesson about vulnerability, adaptation, and the changing character of war.